My name is Kaevon Buchanan from Madison, Wisconsin, and I spend a lot of my time working on learning about the body and how to take care of it naturally, holistically. Right? I'm pretty big on self care, self health, and loving yourself.
What are some challenges you had to overcome during your transition to adulthood?
Challenges. I mean, really, it was just nothing was a challenge to me. Nah, but I say one of the biggest things was it's kind of weird because everything else you typically hear that was a challenge, I kind of like was just already like there mentally, but it was just trying to realize that there is a difference between like school and then like being out of school since I didn't go to college. It's entirely different seeing people that you see every day, and then it just kind of changes to not seeing anybody unless you got the friends that you do or something, and even then you don't see them as often. I was already working and stuff since I was in high school, had a couple jobs already, but that was probably just like the environment change, to put it in like a single term. Just getting used to actually operating outside of school exclusively, because that's when I would say is like my really began the transition for me, and I really started to kind of think about myself more
Okay.
and who I was and who I am as an adult.
So, where would you say you are in your transition right now in this moment?
In this moment, I'm in I call it a training art. um I've really just recently figured out like who I am and my passion and the things that I want to do and just who I want to be in life. And so I'm very much just in the developmental phase where everything I'm working on my passion. I'm working on being a better version of myself every day because I really do feel like I'm far from it. And yeah, just pretty much just the developmental phase for everything. Really understanding myself, understanding the things that I'm getting into and the people I want to be surrounded by, the things I want to change about myself. It's all about change right now.
So, what has been your experience moving out of your parents' house then?
It was interesting because when at first, before everything even happened, like officially moving out, had moved what, 2 or 3 times before that. We went from my old neighborhood, then we had moved to auntie and uncle house, went from their house to what is now my mom's new place. And then from there, I moved out with my partner, and this was an entirely new experience for us. Hadn't lived by ourselves before, so we were still. It took a minute for us to get used to living with somebody else that wasn't our parent or like a sibling. You got different customs and different houses. Like, okay, what are you used to doing, and what are you used to not doing? It can be as simple as, do you take your shoes off at the door? Um,
So, could you describe your process of how you established your boundaries with living with somebody else?
Honestly, if I gotta be honest, I wasn't the best at communicating at a lot of times. And so it kind of just ended up with me being like kind of assuming, oh no, this is okay without really thinking about like how it might impact my partner. And, it's quick to let me know like, hey, that's not cool. And we had a lot of discussion, right? Communication obviously is key. You hear it all the time, but it really does matter once you start getting in the space together, living wise. And just having, it was really important to have those conversations so that we can get what we needed to get across to the other person and let them understand, like, not just what it is, but why as well, why this is uncomfortable and why this is comfortable.
Got you. So could you tell the people that's watching what does the process look like to move into your own place? Like the money management, the
Right. Just everything.
right.
The process for us was interesting because I actually was in the middle of looking for work while having money saved up. And my partner was the one who actually was working at the time. And so everything I had put in was just money I had saved up. So I was pretty much on like a timer anyway. Like I ain't gonna have unlimited money. I had to figure something out. But I was also had a job in mind already I was trying to get, which I did get. And after that, it was getting used to not seeing my mom every morning. I don't know about y'all, but I love my mom. Mama's boy probably. And I'm waking up every morning bothering her. And so it went from her, I start bothering my partner instead now, right? Just to mess with him. So I show love. And it was just getting used to seeing a new face, right? Not like new, but like actually seeing her every day. And it kind of helped too because it makes you appreciate them more as well. It's like, wow, I really do get to have this, and it becomes peaceful too. Um,
So how do you think your experience moving out, how do you think that affected you in both ways, a good way and a bad way?
I think moving out was really good because it was just like it was almost like a test, kind of to see where I was at with myself personally and my relationship with my partner. Um, I'm always one working on self development. Like that's key to me, right? You have to upgrade, elevate, ascend, whatever you do have to reach greater heights. You can always be better. And there were multiple points at which I was like, I mean, I'm pretty good. I got a nice head on my shoulders. I'm not getting into trouble or anything, but it's like it's the small things that you still have to work on. And sometimes you don't notice until someone else points that out before you even know it's something that needs to be worked on. And, I would say there was a lot of that, especially with myself, where I really thought I was okay in certain categories or subjects. And really, I was like, well, I know I can do way better. And that was something that's really stood out to me ever since to this day. But if I had to say anything that was bad, nothing really major, just besides the point that we didn't really get to know what it was like actually being by ourselves fully. It's still, even though I moved out of my parent house, it wasn't just me. I went from still living with somebody else. And so that experience, I'm one who also values experience. And so that experience is now absent, you know. And I love where I'm at today, but that is something that's like, oh, okay, well, we both didn't get to do that.
Okay. So you out the house now, you living on your own, you living with your partner. Describe what it's been like for you trying to connect with like-minded people outside of school, outside of your old neighborhood that you lived in.
Right. So I will say ever since I've moved out, I have what? There are a lot of people that I don't talk to anymore. I got like a very small group of friends, and even then, I don't really get to see them that much. And I'll rephrase that. I don't really see them that much just because I have other things that I'm focused on besides just hanging out all the time. And I have found very few, but I have found other people who really do align with like my way of thinking and who I am and the things that I'm interested in. Um, it's always something that seemed challenging in the past, but like the more I started to focus on myself, they just gravitated towards me. Right. I once I became myself more, I got more of things and people in my life that helped me be myself even more. And so it was, I would say it was a very smooth transition for me. It was rough at first as I was still like really battling, like, okay, like seriously, like who am I and what are the things that I'm truly passionate about and want to do in life. And just looking inward made everything outward so much easier, you know.
So, with your experiences that you have now, would you say that what you're doing right now, are you chasing your passion? Or are you chasing your purpose?
Definitely. With what I'm doing now, as I said earlier, I'm really big on taking care of yourself, loving yourself, um, you know, being in your natural state, being you naturally, right? And just also health as well. We don't really, I feel like the generation that I'm in and the younger generations under me, there's a lot of people figuring out like who they want to be and what their passions may be. And that's like my passion is plays a part in that. Like I love helping people find their passion. I love people finding who they are. You know, I love people who want to take care of and love themselves more. Right. And I say that as somebody I really thought I did it at like the highest level, if I'm being real. Right. You asked me 5 years ago, I'd tell you I'm at the peak with no hesitation. And now I can look back and be like, you know, how wrong I really was. And seeing the growth it's kind of just laid out like, you know, I didn't even think that I wasn't pursuing my passion then. My passion at that time was, you know, just being myself. But what does that mean? And I later figured that out. And so now, today, I'm really like, I want to get my business up and going on natural, holistic health, how to take care of the body properly, right? And it's outside the physical, it's the mental too, right? How do you build yourself mentally? Where do you gain the mental fortitude to pursue your dreams and really who you are without all the blocks, physical and mental blocks and spiritual blocks that you'll have in the mind, around you with the body and spiritually, you know?
So, your last question for today: what is one piece of advice you would give a young adult that is looking to transition like you have transitioned?
One piece of advice, if I had to give only one, because really, I'm thinking about myself right now too. So I'm like, I would give myself so much, you know, just putting myself on game at a young age.
Or even your
But
past self?
right, like I said, one, um, probably the number one thing I would tell myself is that it's okay to not know. We are constantly in a fear of the unknowing. And fear is one of the number one things that we allow, right? And I'm purposely saying allow to stop us from doing certain things or being the people that we want to be. Just because you don't know doesn't mean you should be so scared of it and you shouldn't let it get in the way, right? You can be curious about something and never actually know what it is. You can think like, man, I really think I would enjoy this, or like I feel like this is really me. Like I want to be this person, but I can't because of the people I'm around, or just the environment I'm in, where you might be mentally. I would definitely say that it's okay to not know, but learn how to move forward after that, despite the fear.
Okay. Tell the people where they can find you. Tell them where they can connect with you. Um, and where they can
Right.
find you.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I ain't got too much. It's in development right now. I mean, you can catch me on Snapchat. That'll be what is it? KYOTOKEI. And I do have an Instagram now. Believe it's Genova or Kaevon 2000. That's KAEVON 2000. If y'all want to get up with me, contact me, got questions or whatever, that's where you can hit me up.
All right. We appreciate you, Ronnie. We'll get an interview at a different time.
For sure, I'll be here.
Peace and love.
Love.